Greetings and salutations, gamers. Welcome to a special episode of the Xbox Expansion Pass. We are grading Summer Game Fest 2023. I am your host, Luke Lohr, the InsipidGhost, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, the intrepid Captain Logan. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. It's been a heck of a day, man. We're getting into the E3 territory now.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be busy.
Big time. Oh man, we are the day we're recording this on June 8th, couple hours removed from Summer Game Fest, several days removed from the PlayStation Showcase, and we're a couple days prior to the Xbox Showcase. For context, depending on when you're listening, goodness knows all of those things are generating topics of discussion. Logan, you watched Summer Game Fest, as did I. I know you took notes. I took my notes. They're handwritten. I did a whole page worth. Handwritten. That's
Man.
what I know. I was just laying on the couch writing stuff down, listening.
Oh, okay.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I have my thoughts on this showcase. You have yours. I'd like us to give them a letter grade. At the beginning or end, doesn't bother me either way. But for context, I want to reflect just a moment on the PlayStation Showcase. We've talked about this on XEP proper, but I left the PlayStation Showcase rather high on it. In fact, if I gave it a grade, I would have said a B. I found 8 games in that showcase that I wanted to play, and that is, to me, a great one. Contextually, a lot of people on the socials did not feel the same way. They seemed to like the showcase. They weren't happy on the PlayStation first party side, which is understandable and makes good sense. I would still have given the PlayStation Showcase a B. What would you have given the PlayStation Showcase?
I'm there with you. I get the sentiment of folks saying like, it didn't really showcase like what Sony's got exclusive and stuff, but honestly, the games are still good. They still showed really good games, and I still came away with it. I was like, I see where people are coming from, but I enjoyed it. I had a pretty good time, especially I think they sold me more on a lot of the titles for the PSVR 2. But I recognize like I'm super niche when it comes to that. So it's like, I get it. Like, if you didn't buy the $650 device back in February, you probably don't care a whole lot about those games, but I enjoyed it. I would give it a B as well too, for sure.
Okay. So we were high on the PlayStation Showcase. Now, Summer Game Fest, of course, is our topic here. I got to tell you, man, I watched Summer Game Fest, and I have not watched anyone else's reactions apart from yours, where you were a guest on Project X Talk. I'm not too high on Summer Game Fest Showcase. I would have given this a lower grade. I'm at a solid C for Summer Game Fest. And I'm curious because I don't know if I'm in the minority or if people are in agreement for me, but I left Summer Game Fest rather lukewarm all around. I didn't see any game that was new to me apart from Sonic Superpowers that I was losing my mind for. That was kind of my kicker, was that there was no game that was new here that I'm like playing that day one no matter what. That's was the only one for me. There was a lot of stuff in Summer Game Fest that I was like, yo, I'm gonna play that, but I already knew about Mortal Kombat 1. I knew about Immortals of Avium. That was kind of my thought process. Where did you stand? Like your vibe check. If I'm at a C for this one, where are you at?
So I see where you're coming from, because it feels like this is kind of like warmed up leftovers. Like we kind of knew, like everything was kind of like we already knew a lot of this, getting a little more context. I honestly, I'm kind of with you. Like I had a good time. It was cool. There were some things in there that I was like, oh, I didn't know about that. That's cool. I'm thinking of like Banishers, the Lord of the Rings, Deep Rock Galactic game that they're coming out with. I kind of want to know more about what the heck Star Trek Infinite is, because that sounded I don't know. I definitely want to talk about that for sure. Sandland was interesting. Like it's if you're into Dragon Ball Z art style, like that's a good one. Honestly, Sonic Superstars really was like the like that was kind of like the in the Prince of Persia. I'll say the Prince of Persia
Okay. All
game.
right.
Those two were the surprises for me
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, bro, that's cool. That's cool
Mm-hmm.
that they're doing that because
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. And I honestly, I was kind of like sold on the MK1 and the Spider-Man stuff. Like those
Mm-hmm.
were kind of known quantities. It was, I think the Mortal Kombat really did well, but overall, yeah, it was less than the Sony one because I felt like the Sony one kind of stole the thunder with a lot of the announcements that we got with for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree, and I'm not looking to go through every single game, Logan, but I do think it's important to touch on some key ones. I'm glad to know we're in agreement, but again, warmed up leftovers is exactly how I feel because I
Yeah,
saw a lot of stuff that I'm gonna eat, but none of
yeah,
it was like, yo, this is it. Um, Prince of Persia, the last is Prince of Persia, the Last Crown,
yep.
set for January 2024. I legit, when I saw gameplay, I thought this was kind of the reemergence of the remake that they had kind of decommissioned and
Oh,
were like,
really?
"Yo, this is not." That's what I thought was happening. When I first saw it, I was like, so they're bringing this back." I didn't lose my mind on it until I
Yeah.
saw that it was a Ubisoft original. When they
Mhm.
said it was an Ubi original, I was like, "Oh, new game, not remaster, not remake. Okay, I'm a little more open to it."
Yeah.
That was my quick take on that one. Where were you?
It look it reminded me of Metroid Dread and Metroid Samus Returns, which were two
Yeah.
one remake and a brand new game
Mhm.
for the Metroid series. One was on 3DS and it looked amazing for the 3DS.
Mhm.
Really, really, especially with the 3D effects.
Mhm.
And then Dread, we all I think the industry all really looked at that and said, like, this is how you do 2D side scrollers. Like
Mhm.
Metroid is the status quo. So looking at Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, and seeing that, I was actually really impressed because it looks like it is a fast 2D side scroller
Mhm.
that still has like the 3D graphics to it.
Mhm.
And if they're going this route and it's a, it's a relatively short game, they don't do anything stupid with like microtransactions. They just keep it very true to what it is, how Ubisoft does their originals.
Mhm.
I think that could be a really strong contender for like a smaller game, like a good platformer.
I, I I'm with you on that, and I think I'm cautiously optimistic.
That's a good place to be.
You
It's
know?
better than a negative, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Cautiously optimistic. I'm there. Um, I was surprised that we saw the next game so quickly, which was Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
The way that Geoff was talking this one up and a lot of the marketing push for this one was surprising to me. We got it that early in the show, but Mortal Kombat 1, it's basically a reboot of the franchise, alternate universe, new timeline, new takes on characters, a new assist system that they're calling Cameo with a K, um, which didn't maybe I'm out of touch here, but like it looked to me like it's a button assist. Like you press a button, somebody comes in, does an assist, and then backs out.
100%.
I don't know what was so revolutionary about it. I know that you can factor your combos in, but like Power Rangers Battle for the Grid does that, and a lot of tag games do that. So I'm
Yeah.
curious what I'm missing, but I'm not a fighting game community guy, and I'm just re-entering fighting games thanks to Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Um, but it's Mortal
I,
Kombat, and it looks well done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. Like, I don't think it's doing anything revolutionary. I think the draw here is less about the cameo and more about the reboot of the franchise. Like, because the game looks beautiful, it's fantastic. I want to know more like what the story is going to be for each character in this rebooted world because with the trailer that we got back in on the PlayStation showcase, it was kind of teased like, hey, we're going to have the same characters but they may not have the same motivations or history. And that I think could be really interesting to kind of see where that's going. You're muted.
Things like there we go. I don't know why I pressed the button 4 times. Thank you. Things like Scorpion and Sub-Zero being brothers.
Yeah.
That was a cool thing, and, like, you zoom your way back to, like, 1994 when the Mortal Kombat movie came out. Still a fun movie to watch, by the way.
Oh, I love that movie.
You could easily see them being brothers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's ways to look at some of this stuff, but I'm curious what they're gonna do with that. I like the idea of reimagining some of these characters, uh, and seeing kind of what we can do story-wise because they've done a couple reboots in Mortal Kombat. My favorite was Armageddon. I loved that game because it had every character, but,
It
like,
did.
the premise was everything was going up, and, um, nonetheless, I like the ideas here. Nothing looked so vast a departure though from Mortal Kombat 11.
No.
Am
I
I Yeah, okay, so you're feeling
No,
similar?
I think you're right there. I think you're right there. I think the thing that I'm curious about is who's actually going to be on the roster versus who's going to be relegated to the cameos.
Mhm.
Because I looking at like the characters that they had for the cameos, they had like Kano, Sonya, Jax. They had like Stryker in there, which I was surprised about. I wasn't expecting Stryker to show up out of there, but they had like Goro, but they had like their MK1 costumes, and I was like,
Mhm.
bro, that hits so deep. I'm
Definitely a
so glad
nostalgia
that they're
play.
doing that. Yeah, so like I'm there to like check it out and see like what they're gonna do with that. I
Mhm.
don't know that it really like and maybe there's a lot more to come. Like we you know it's coming out September 19th.
Sure.
We got time,
Mhm.
but bro, that like I just love how beautiful it is, and I love that they're going to be telling a fresh story,
Mhm.
because you know it's a good way to introduce people into a Mortal Kombat without the hey, did you watch the 30-minute video on the one character just to understand the history that that character's been throughout the 18 billion games that they've been in.
Right. No, 100% agree. Uh, this is definitely a game I'm gonna get. Definitely a game I'm looking forward to. I don't know why I'm looking forward to it though. So that's
Yeah,
kind of a neat like there's a couple cool things, but I don't know what it is. Now, I will say when you get a NetherRealm game, they have proven that they can craft a good story, great cinematics, over the top animations, and their netcode is solid. So like I know I'm gonna get a good fighting game. I just don't know. Like Street Fighter has a magic for me. DC games have a magic for me. So like Injustice 3, which is what I was wishing prior to us knowing Mortal Kombat 1. There's a
yeah.
magic there. Mortal Kombat doesn't have that same magic for me, but I'm still interested.
You know what this is though? This is like your favorite pizza may be like a meat lovers
Mm-hmm.
or like a barbecue chicken pizza. My favorite pizza may be like a pineapple on pizza or pineapple on pineapple and ham pizza or
Mm-hmm.
like a stuffed crust pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And both pizzas are coming from the same place. They're both really good, but they're completely different flavors,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not really going to like want to eat the other one. So the fact that we're getting like two good pizzas for multiple people out there in the
Mm-hmm.
same year is great. It harkens back to those 90 days when those days back in the 90s when we did have to find like, okay, are like who's going to be over at the Street Fighter 2 tournament edition cabinet and who's going to be over at like the
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, like are we going to see some dude do a fatality, or are we going to see some really good like combos and stuff? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be having a good time if in the fact that both franchises are being serviced in the same year and both
Mm-hmm.
look and play fantastic from what we've seen and what we've actually had hands on with.
Mm-hmm.
That's a plus, man. I can't knock anything. Like it's gonna sell great, and I think it's not gonna detract any. Evo is going to be amazing over the next couple of years.
I'll tell you what, man. It makes me hope that Tekken just sits out for a bit. Just relax,
Yeah,
Tekken. We don't need you for a
right,
bit. Just take your time.
man.
Take your time, Tekken.
Tekken 8, right? We're like
I think it is 8. I think
I
it's 8.
think it's 8. I don't think it's coming out this year, but man,
I
if
hope
if
not.
if they had plans on releasing it this year, they should really think about like, like
Maybe reconsider that.
yeah, add some
Maybe
content,
reconsider that. You don't need to come out for a bit. Why come out? So yeah, that Mortal Kombat definitely a good one. I was intrigued by Path of Exile being the next game,
Mm,
because It looked really beautiful.
right?
In-engine stuff. It looked beautiful. This is Path of Exile 2. Path of Exile, supremely successful. Free to
Yeah,
play Diablo is a way you should think of it, but not a predatory one.
yeah.
Very successful game. It it had I felt like they dropped the mic and no one was watching, no one was
Mhm.
listening because Diablo 4 is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
And that kind of stinks for Path of Exile, which has done such a great job at building a legacy, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
with you on that one. It look cool. I love the effects that that wizard or sorceress, however she's represented,
Remember the
like
lightning?
the lightning, so
Yeah,
good, dude. I
yeah,
was like looking at that like arc across the ground, and I was like, ooh, that reminds me of chain lightning back in the day on Diablo 2, but it looks really good. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping that Path of Exile gets its flowers in July because it'll be a little bit removed away from Diablo 4. It'll be kind of curious to see like how people receive it.
Agreed. Agreed. Regardless, I think people should pay attention to Path of Exile, especially in the Xbox community, given that Avowed is in that world.
Hmm.
And a lot of people forget that. I forget that regularly. I forget that actually.
Yeah,
Um,
and
so,
that's still a ways out too. So
mhm. Yep, big time, big time. Next game on the list, and I'm not trying to go game for game. In fact, there's a whole section we'll almost skip, but there was a very strange set of trailers. One of them being
yeah,
Street Fighter 6 and
kind of.
Exoprimal doing this
Yeah.
weird collab mashup that I'm not really sure what they were trying to do. Were you trying to spotlight and like get point eyes to Street Fighter 6? Were you trying to point eyes to the July release of Exoprimal or the collab that's happening in the fall? In the fall. I don't know what was happening there. I know nothing changed for me Street Fighter wise, and I was already going to play Exoprimal on Game Pass. So
I
cool.
think this is the like like Street Fighter 6 just had a launch and
Mm-hmm.
it's like ranked really high. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
a good fighter. And I think what they're doing is they're like, hey, by the way, you remember that really good Street Fighter game we just launched a few days ago?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you love it, then check out our new IP, Exoprimal. And I think that's the play. But bro, it was a super weird. It was like it was a very tight, different, specific type of trailer that I was like, this does not hit for me, and I don't think I understand the in on
Uh,
this.
okay, then I'm glad that you don't understand it because I
Yeah,
was confused. I was
it
like, all
was
right,
weird. It was
it
definitely weird.
it was weird. Okay, I'm glad. Again, I'm not rooting against it. I'm playing both games. It
No,
just felt like an out of place thing. But a lot of these trailers didn't fit. Um, they brought Nicolas Cage out to talk about being Nicolas Cage, which it wasn't cringy like some things, but it didn't make sense either because he tried to explain video games, but he was having fun. All right. It,
such
it,
a yeah.
it's, it felt like a Keanu Reeves attempt.
It did. It felt like Jeff trying to be like, I can bring out some like everything he does. He's like, what A list star or what B list star can I get on the stage to get people to validate? Like I need emotions validated right now, and I want to like if I can't be in a movie, then I can be in a video game that Hideo Kojima makes because he wants to make movies, and that's we're gonna break our way into Hollywood through the back door. And I was just like, bro, I'm good on Nick Cage. He looks good. He looks like he
He,
was willing to take that paycheck, and
I mean, he's always wanted to, I
he's
mean, he's got
always
some
willing
movies,
to
but
take.
like, he's also really talented. And without a doubt, it
Eh.
was just like, we have Keanu Reeves at home. I was like, all right. All
It's
right.
just weird that like he's gonna be in Dead, like the whole like them being like Nicolas Cage is gonna be in Dead by Daylight. Everyone's like, why?
Yeah,
And then
really?
they had their like then they had to cart out Nicolas Cage to be like, hey Nicolas Cage, why are you in this? And he's like, well, you see, it's a museum. It's just like he goes into the spiel about what a
Made
video game is,
no
and it's
sense.
a
Yeah.
museum of horror. And I was like, okay, all right, let's.
All right. All right, Grandma.
I'm not a Nick
Mhm.
Cage fan, but
I
let's get
don't
this
dislike
rolling.
I don't dislike Nick Cage. I like Nick Cage. I just
You know,
wasn't I didn't quite get the need for him to be there.
yeah, I think that's 100% of all of the actor cameos that Geoff has on Games Fest and Game Awards, though.
Yeah. I can't argue that one bit, so I'm not gonna. You're right. That said, it didn't hurt. We saw a trailer for Witcher, which was interesting. My boy Henry Cavill was there. Witchfire was in there. They had a really interesting PSVR 2 trailer
Yeah.
that is relevant to the Xbox community because this trailer was so endearing at parts, but then it comes up that this is Crossfire.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Xbox gamers are burned heavy on Crossfire, and who can blame them? That was the one where Remedy made the single player, but it was really, I think it was Platonic. I always fix
No, it was
Smilegate,
not
Smilegate,
Platonic.
Smilegate,
Yeah,
Smilegate.
I
Yeah,
was
they
like,
have.
bro, ukulele making.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, bottom line, I was like, okay, uh, we're all out for this one, and I just hate that. No matter what, Crossfire, whatever, if it was good, it's not. Nobody's there for that now.
If I got it for free, I would love to dive in because the trailer that they had like kind of got me sold on it, and then I was like, I know this is gonna be Crossfire. Please don't be Crossfire. And then it was Crossfire. I was like, no.
Yeah.
We just need Half-Life Alex. That's all it is. That's all it comes down to.
It is all you need, and yet they don't bring it to you. They don't.
I think, yeah, I have thoughts on that, but
one of the games that I thought it did impress briefly was Remnant 2. I thought Remnant 2 looked cool.
It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
Just
did you
hands
play the
down.
first one?
No, but I know it is a respected game. I've seen some friends play through it and stuff. It looks fun. I have not sat down to do it, but dude, I don't think that studio is messing around with that game. I think that game's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I'm looking forward to it. I'll play it, but it wasn't one that, again, like I lost my mind for.
Well, the trailer was weird.
It was weird, wasn't it? I wasn't quite sure what kind of game I was looking at first.
Yeah, you got to work on get better. If you're gonna put in like a non-contextual like trailer without any kind of like lead up.
Yeah.
First off, I hate that you're doing it like right after an ad. Like, bro, if you're gonna sell me on a Samsung screen, sell me on a Samsung screen and then cut back to Geoff so I know we're not still in the ad.
Yeah, I want to clear it for listeners. If you didn't watch it and you're curious what he's talking about, at various points through the showcase, they would cut away to what was deceptively like set up to be trailers, but what it actually was a sizzle reel promoting Samsung's Game Hub, which includes Xbox Game Pass titles as well as some that are not Xbox Game Pass. And so it was tough to get a read on, like, are you trying to sell us Game Pass stuff, this particular game that was first up or that we just left? Or are you trying to sell Samsung's hub? Because none of it was clear. And that's bad if you're Samsung right now.
Yeah.
Do better. Do better. I lost my mind, though, when I saw this amazing 2D original game, which is Sonic Superstars. This to me looks like they've taken lessons that they learned with 3D Sonic about, how to design and the philosophy of design, treating the game and the characters with respect, giving them a lot of love, and really putting work into controls and feel. Sonic Superstars looks to me like taking Sonic Mania and Sonic Frontiers and creating a great 2D Sonic. It felt like New Super Mario Brothers, but Sonic style. I got that vibe.
Really thought that was beautiful, man. Like the shift, the trailer itself, brilliantly done. The shift from 2D design or like character, like art to 3D art, and using the ideas of like the half pipes that we've known for so long and implementing that in a 2D platform or a 2D or like a 2D side scroller was just like, that's cool. And I love that they've got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy as like a 4-player like combo there. Like, that's cool. Like, I want to see what that's about. But man, Sonic is just like, they should have been doing this for a long time. I'm glad that they're doing it now, but they should have been doing this for a long time.
Agree. But I was in on that. That was my like game of show, if it could be said that way.
Yeah.
Which I don't think says much for the show. Because typically, if your game of the show would be this great bombastic third-person narrative or Skyrim level event, his big Geoff Keighley's big game of show that he teased, talked about, and built up was the next Final Fantasy VII game, which to an Xbox audience might fall flat, might not, depending on your interest in Final Fantasy if you're playing it on PlayStation. But in watching it, it didn't feel like it hit that moment. And I'm skipping to the end of the show for a moment,
Yeah.
but it didn't feel like Final Fantasy VII hit as this big gravitas moment. And I don't know if it's because I primary on Xbox, but like Final Fantasy has never moved the needle for me personally. But
Yeah.
were people excited? En masse people? Like obviously anyone that likes Final Fantasy it looks great.
I gotta assume everyone that loves Final Fantasy is just excited to find out that the second part is coming sooner rather than later. It took forever for them to get the remake out, and this is coming like maybe what is it, like 3 years now, I think, since the last one. So I'm sure they're excited. It was definitely not the thing that made it for me. And honestly, like if I'm being honest, like Spider-Man 2's conversation points that they had on stage were cool. Like they saved the date for Geoff, which was kind of like a bummer for PlayStation fans because it's like they should have gotten it on the showcase.
Yeah.
Instead, it was put in here. Then they showed the Final Fantasy Rebirth stuff, and then we got, it's just, I don't know, like that ending there didn't feel like as cool as like the Mortal Kombat and the Sonic Superstars for me. Like I had a lot more fun at the beginning of the showcase than I did at the end.
So, okay, there's a couple things to kind of break down in that. With the Spider-Man element, I thought it did fall flat because we just had Sony showcase, and it kind of hurts that showcase in some ways. The
Yeah.
counterpoint and the logical PR approach is here we are 2 weeks removed from PlayStation showcase, and we've got new Spider-Man info. We talked about Spider-Man already. Now we're talking about it again. We've doubled the news cycle. I think that was the angle.
Not to mention like getting the date before Xbox's showcase.
That was way. That's a good point. We should note that Sonic Superpowers, by the way, is in the fall of 2023, but the Spider-Man 2, that the date of that is October 20th, which is which means it's not coming out the month of Starfield, which is September. So that
kills my prediction.
It is interesting to watch watch Sony choose not to go toe to toe because they totally would have won in a sales race. Spider-Man would have sold. They have a bigger install base, and there's Game Pass that hurts sales but ups engagement. But yeah, for Spider-Man to be coming out in October 20th at that, and then you've got Alan Wake 2, which we saw some gameplay of, which was great. Alan Wake 2 is October 17th. You've got Spider-Man and Alan Wake 2, which are just going to dominate October. Really curious to know how this impacts Forza Motorsport. If that changes a release or impacts at all, because Starfield is September.
I still feel like Motorsport's coming out this month, man. I still feel
you still
it's crazy. I still think so.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's bonkers. They haven't updated anything, dude. Nothing on their website has updated to push out the date. They've released no information. They've been very quiet about that project. So, and they've got till the end of June. That before, it said spring of 2023. We've heard absolutely nothing. It's either coming out or they announce after the showcase that it's being delayed to 2024. And that's not news you want to showcase. You don't want to share that news. You want to get that out in front of the showcase.
Yeah.
So that people can get it out of the news cycle so that they're talking about all the cool stuff that's going on. We've heard absolutely nothing. It is still marketed as spring 2023, which is like the 20th of June.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Either way. Well, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know how do you give that news this close to the Xbox showcase if you aren't already planning on like putting it out there.
Fair point. I'm not arguing any of the points. I just don't see that. But either way, we've got a crowded fall already with Alan Wake, Starfield, and Spider-Man. And I know I'm in on all three of those. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in on all three. For some reason, I've got Starfield fever now. I don't know why. I'm in on it now. It's weird.
Temper those expectations, but buy that controller, because holy crap, the controller's beautiful, dude.
In between Sonic Superpowers and Alan Wake, we had a slew of Lies of P, Sandland, the Annapurna Showcase, Sizzle Reel, Throne and Liberty, Warhaven, Party Animals, Dying Light 2 was in there,
Yeah.
Crash Team Rumble, and like it felt like a mishmash of like, what do we got? Because none of them were heavy hitters. Annapurna Showcase is going to have an appeal. I appreciate that was in there. Some of the games that they kind of sizzled in there looked cool, but I don't know, man. Lies of P, cool. I know a lot of people are excited about that as kind of it's not Wo Long. Here we got Lies of P. None of these are Bloodborne or Elden Ring.
The fact that it's day one Game Pass is going to be big, though. Like the fact that you can play Lies of P just like you played Wo Long. If you were into Elden Ring, if you into Souls games, you're not having to shell out $70 to play these other experiences.
Yeah,
you can just pick them up on Game Pass, which is overlooked, I think, too often.
You're right. But no, I don't know. It felt strange in this showcase, but maybe it's just me.
I do agree with you. The combination of trailers was super all over the place, man. He's like, we got a little bit of something for everyone. Here's Fae Farm, and it's like, yeah, you did. You 100% had a little bit of everything.
That was weird. Yeah, the Party Animals, I don't know what I was seeing with that one. It was just strange. After Alan Wake 2, though, which was just a great trailer, go look at that gameplay, guys. Saga looks like such a cool character. If you're an Alan Wake fan, you got a lot to be excited about. I was really high on the Warhammer Space Marine stuff. I thought that looked great.
It's going to be good.
Right?
It's going to be real good. That game is going to be real fun.
I wish the first one was back compat. It really makes me wish it was back compat.
I had to buy it on Steam. I had to buy like a key online and play it through Steam because it wasn't on back compat. And I'm like, you have like every other Warhammer game all over the place on Xbox. Why can't you get the license for Space Marine?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good game. I still love how it is a game of its time. It was definitely, I think it came out like 2010 or something.
Yeah.
It is most definitely like that type of game design. So I'm very curious how they play around with that in this new one, given like the decades of learning we've had with game design.
Much like Remnant, it has old school Gears vibes. So if you're a Gears player, check out Warhammer Space Marine. Given the first one, and given how much I'm enjoying Gunbolt, like it's cool to enjoy Warhammer in a way that I wouldn't have before, because that world is well beyond me.
It's World of Warcraft, but with space. That's all it is. Like it's you got orcs, you got humans. They're eternally fighting each other, but it's all in space.
In space.
Well, for most of the Warhammer, I should say, they have like two realms. They've got like a fantasy and a space realm, and Space Marine much. I think a lot of folks, if they go back and play it, will be surprised at how you can still have a pretty good time with that one. Can I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, because I didn't realize it. Alan Wake is coming out right before Spider-Man, but Lies of P and Mortal Kombat are slated for the same day. And Lies of P, Lies of P's 19th? Yeah. So I'm curious, like how that news cycle is going to be, and how people are going to take to that.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to
like,
it.
Are they gonna go for those? Or are they gonna wait for like a few days and then pick up Party Animals on 9/20?
If I'm Lies of P, man, I'm moving. I'm moving.
But it's Game Pass, man. It's locked in. They can't do anything about it.
Yep, they're stuck. Sucks to be them.
Yeah.
Oh well, for them. I got nothing for them.
It'll be fine. I'm sure like a lot of people are gonna like Lies of P. I think that's gonna be a great game.
Let's see, Baldur's Gate 3, that's cool to see, kind of making its reemergence. Jason Isaacs was showcased there. He's a good villain. Pal World, Black Desert Online, Lord of the Rings, the Final Fantasy VII Android stuff. I'm skipping through. There was some. It just felt strange. The Like a Dragon. People got really excited about. That's day one Game Pass, is it not?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I don't actually remember. I know they were trying to build a relationship there. I don't remember if it was or not. But I know that one got leaked ahead of time, unfortunately, for that team. Under the Waves 9th. Looked cool. November 9th. Yep. Okay. Under the Waves looked cool, I thought. Then we got some weird mobile stuff with Marvel Snap was brought out there. There was Fae Farm. There was COD Warzone. A couple other games, all including the Star Trek game you mentioned, Star Trek Infinite. I don't know if that's a mobile game or a 4X game. I don't know. I
have no idea.
I love Star Trek. I don't know what it is. They showcased the Unreal editor for Fortnite, which was cool. I realized it just covered up my lighting. That was weird.
Which was weird too, because we got that like back during CES. We found out about that.
Yeah. Again, it's reheated vegetables is what this felt like.
Yeah.
And then Twisted Metal had a trailer in there. That show looks real bad. They continue to not understand Twisted Metal. Will Arnett
didn't need to make that. They didn't need to make that. No,
they didn't. The Will Arnett being there just felt odd. It didn't feel like he was invested. And then that show on Peacock, it's like, throw some Rob Zombie in there, and then I think you've got Twisted Metal. But right now, I just feel like Macklemore's making it, and I'm confused.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Did you want to talk about the 75 years of the Porsche random thing?
I do, but I want to finish up the games aspect in that. Mortals of Avium was shown. That game looks like it's a really good looking B tier game, and I'm going to love it. But most people are going to be lukewarm on it, which I respect. That's kind of like, I like the double A's. This looks like a really good double A, but pure double A. Then we saw Fortnite's new season with Optimus Prime, and then they closed with Final Fantasy Rebirth, which is an exclusive for PlayStation. I reheated vegetables, and I was like, nothing really new.
You got it was a good leftovers showcase.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't want to watch the PlayStation because you are a diehard like Xbox fan, then and you were gonna watch the Summer Games Fest, then you got served well. You got served most of the stuff that was already in the PlayStation showcase, and most of that stuff's coming to Xbox anyway. So
Yeah, this was like no one should ever doubt Geoff Keighley ever.
Yeah,
man, has done a lot for the gaming. You can love him or hate him, and a lot of people in the Xbox community really have it out for him. But like, he's done a lot for gaming. But I don't think this was his best work as far as putting together a showcase, and that's tough when now you have 2 showcases a year. He's got to have stuff for Game Awards, and PlayStation and Xbox need stuff for their own showcases. So tough job for him, but I didn't feel like this one nailed it.
Yeah.
Tell me, so I know exactly what you're alluding to, but I'm gonna
do you want to save it? Do you want to save the Xbox stuff for when we get into like the show, like another episode and stuff?
No,
keeping content. Okay.
Finish on this because Xbox had a very, very limited presence here. A couple games were Game Pass, and like you saw a quick logo. Nothing felt like Xbox was helping. It didn't feel like Xbox gave them anything, This felt like they were just like, oh, if it happens to be on Xbox, all right. But there was one segment that just stood out awkwardly, badly, I would say, where Geoff Keighley talked about the relationship between Porsche and gaming. And then Xbox was celebrating that by having 75 custom made consoles that are unique unto themselves, and absolutely hideous, I will say. Not cute, not adorable, hideous Logun.
They're colorful. God.
They're colorful, yeah. And like, I don't know what the angle was. I thought they looked terrible. I don't understand. And like, there was no purpose for this. Like, who benefited from that?
Yeah.
Did Porsche? Did Xbox? Did the gamer?
Yeah, no, it felt like something that should have been saved for the Forza announcement that the game was going to be coming out and they were going to have limited edition controllers for it, and that they were going to have a sweepstakes for like this. Felt like something that Geoff was like, please fill anything, and he's like, bro, I don't know what to tell you. Like we got our show, you got your show, we're doing our show, so like, what do you want? He's like, anything, I'll take anything. He's like, all right, fine. We got a 75 year anniversary with Xbox and Porsche. We're going to be doing consoles. We'll give you the consoles. He's like, perfect, thank you. That's all I need. Just something.
This is the stuff that got on the cutting room floor of the Xbox Showcase extended. You know what I mean? This was cutting room floor stuff. I was embarrassed for them as I watched it. And when I say for them, I don't know who I'm talking about. Am I talking about Xbox? I'm talking about Geoff Keighley? I'm talking about Porsche? It sucks. And the worst part is I know somebody put some effort in. I still don't get it.
I just entered for the sweepstakes. If I win one of these things, I'm gonna have it like in the background on display all the time. Just because I know you think it's hideous.
It is hideous. It's so ugly.
I'm gonna try and win one of these things.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I gotta sit here and like eat a double down while I'm at it too. I'm gonna be like, oh god, isn't that Porsche Xbox Series X so beautiful?
I hate you.
It was a good show, but it was definitely less than the showcase for PlayStation. I think Xbox is gonna be. I'm hoping it's a lot better. We got some bad news today for Sea of Thieves, so I don't know what's going on with that, but hopefully the showcase explains it.
Well, listeners and viewers, thank you so much for joining us for this special episode, grading the Summer Games Fest 2023. For the thoughts on our Xbox showcase, keep it tuned to this channel over on YouTube, youtube.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. And then, of course, you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. Logan, I'm giving Summer Game Fest a C. What are you giving it?
I'm giving it a C as well.
A C.
I see some reheated leftovers right now.
Reheated leftovers. Wasn't good.
Alrighty,
guys. Yeah, Sonic was great. Oh, I'm there for Sonic. All right. That's going to be it for us. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And look forward to the Xbox Showcase. Take care, everybody.